Yeah, that's the people pleasing thing that we've talked about before, and we've done a episode specifically on that of getting yourself out of that mode of being people pleasing. And Chris, anything you want to add on that?
As a society, I'm gonna put it on that level. As a society, we're so conflict averse. So
Yeah.
everything, I think, where we are today, and I don't know how we got here. I mean, it's one of those head scratchers for me. But we're in such a society now that everybody is conflict averse, and when there's conflict, that automatically means it's I'm pulling my guns out. And I don't mean that figured, literally, but I gotta get on this side, and you got to get on the side, and we got to start shooting at each other. That means none of the above in my book. Just
Yeah.
because we have conflict, actually, I want to see how we act in conflict. So, in other words, when I run into conflict, even or potential conflict, let's
Mhm.
go there. If I run into potential conflict with someone who I'm close with, because that's a lot of times what you run into. It's a little less with the folks the folks that are on the periphery of our lives.
Yeah.
It's easy to kind of swat them back.
Yeah.
But the people that we're close to, that family members, best friends,
Hmm.
um, spouses, um, dating partners, whatever you want to say. That's the area that I want to see how we can function. I always said this when I'm currently single, but I always say whenever I date anybody and I meet a woman and we start, there's interest, I say, now there's going to come a point in time where we're going to have a disagreement slash fight. How are we going to behave? Is it going to be an adult thing, or are we going to go to junior high school? Because I want to see that. I want to see how you act. I mean, I'm not looking for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not in a perfect world. There's no disagreements. We're all good. And everything is hunky dory. But we all know that that's not the case. We just know that's not the case. And if you think like that, then you're delusional. Okay, I'm gonna be the first one to tell you you are freaking delusional. Okay. Matter of fact, sometimes you find out what you really got on your hand when you have that first disagreement. Do they go DEFCON 5 on you? Or it's like, let's keep it down here. Let's talk about this like two
Yeah.
adults.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm looking for that. If
Yeah.
someone goes like dry grass on me and it's like, dry grass with a match,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't I'm now looking at you. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So you get the one or the two. We get to three. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
was this really did you really
Yeah.
have to go there over something so that I view as innocuous?
Yeah.
I don't view when I say innocuous, I don't view it from the standpoint that what how you're feeling is not important. But I also there's levels to this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And being in a disagreement about somebody about whether you should meet at 5:30 or whether you should meet at 6 o'clock is
Mhm. Yeah.
it's a nothing burger. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I always look at how people act when we disagree.
Yeah, agreed.
While you mentioned that, Chris, let me tell I've been married one time, and during our marriage, it was a long time ago that I was married, but I was married for a short period of time. We're actually still very close friends and business partners, but when we would have a disagreement, I would faint because in the household that I grew up in, my parents were kind of high school sweethearts, and they had their own disagreements. But that was back in the day, all that kind of stuff. They had grown folk discussions outside of the earshot of children. And so when I got married, and if we had a disagreement, and we never had big blowout disagreements, but anytime where now I could sit down and communicate and voice what I'm feeling, I would faint. And so it'd be like, what the hell? Because I would literally, I'd be like,
Oh my goodness.
in the middle of a call, and he wasn't saying he's a big and tall guy, but he wasn't intimidating or threatening. It was just out of conflict. My body just that's
Shut
right.
down. Wow.
So I wasn't very long because he thought he made me so miserable, and he really did not. But I wasn't. Again, when as you learn, you get older, and you try to learn more about yourself. I wasn't a situation that I was in. I didn't know how to communicate and process. And these weren't heated arguments. He didn't know talk down to me. He didn't, call me nothing like that. It was just conflict, like you just mentioned. you have to see how you handle disagreements. I would hit the floor and faint in the middle. So for him, he didn't want to um, have too many of those conversations
Conflict.
where I'm falling on the floor.
That
So,
makes sense.
but you're right. You really have to in work relationships. um, we have to teach our children as we prepare them to go into the workforce how to engage in those conversations with your coworkers. And I was okay with that. I've always got along well with coworkers, and if we needed to, come together as a team, I was fine with that. But just, and we also have to equip our children in personal relationships. How do you have those conversations, especially without fainting? Like, how do you have a grown up conversation, and talk? I think that's a real important skill. I have lovely parents, but I think that was something I was not equipped for. So
Yeah.
you're right. That when you said that, that made me think about that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I just
So
fall.
that's pretty amazing, as you said, and that impacts both people in the relationship because
Mhm.
you don't want to go there because you know how your body's going to react. He doesn't want to go there because he doesn't want to see you react that way. So then it becomes this void between you, right?
Right,
Because
right.
no
And
one
that's
wants to cross that conflict bridge, right? And so it's very interesting.